Hello YouTubers. It seems that spring has finally sprung at Stonehenge. The sun is out, the birds are singing, the greenery is starting to grow, the wildflowers are popping out. That van up there is Geeky Phil. A nice chat, long chat with him this morning. Nice fella. The van just going. Nice to finally have a bit of spring weather. Hello YouTube, welcome to another Van on Tour video. A couple of weeks ago I put out a video and I mentioned at the end of the video that I was going to do a question and answers video, and that's what this video is all about. Received quite a good response, and I think I got to about 9 questions, 9 very good questions, so here goes. The first question is from Bob Dobalina, and he asks, how many days food and water can you carry in the van at one time? Well, water, I carry about 7 days worth of water. I've got 2 5-litre containers of water, and I've got a 12.5-litre container under the cupboard, which I'll show you now. There's one for wastewater, one for fresh water, and that typically lasts me for about 7 days. If I choose to shower, then 4 days if I have one shower, but then I have multiple sources of gathering water, which I've done in a previous video, so I'm never really that long without water. Now food, I can carry 10 to 14 days worth of food. I have this whole cupboard, that side on the left, which carries all tins and condiments and stuff, and I also have a big storage container underneath the bed for food, which I carry a lot of dried stuff. I buy fresh fruit and veg as I go, but I could disappear for 10 to 14 days without having to go to a shop, which isn't bad. Question number 2 is from Andy Sharp. What's the smallest van you would recommend or use for yourself? It would probably be this one. I've seen people do marvellous things with Fiat Doblos and Renault Kangoos, but you have to faff about a lot with making the bed long enough for you. You have to move the driver's seat forward and fold out an extension board, and you know, it seems a bit too much work for me. So this one, you can have a full length bed, double bed, which is out in a matter of seconds. That's why I went for this size of this size of van. It's very good for that. For other people though, I would suggest that standing room can be a problem. There is no standing room in here, so if you're going to spend a lot of time in your van, you really want something with standing roof. So I would suggest sort of like the smallest there would be medium wheelbase, Ford Transit size with a high roof. This I primarily built as an adventure van, so I could go anywhere under any barrier, park it in the supermarkets with no problems, and it's just turned out I'm using it more than I expected. Right, question number 3 is from HW100. Have you ever been moved on by the police or the council? Only once, and it was here at Stonehenge. There was quite a few vans parked down here, and a council official came along with a policeman and presented us with a fake notice to move. I was with Ant's VanLife at the time, and we did politely challenge him on the legality of it. The letter was printed off by Wiltshire Council. It wasn't signed by anybody, there was nobody named on it, there was no department named on it. We did challenge him on it, because legally they can't do that. He had no answers for our questions. He wouldn't confirm whether it was legally binding or whether he could force us to move on. The policeman politely turned around and said he was just there to keep the peace, but it all ended amicably. I was leaving that day anyway. I think Ant done a video on it. He had his GoPro rolling at the time, and as soon as the council official saw that the GoPro was rolling, he got really edgy and wanted to leave. So it was just a scare tactic to try and move us on, but it was all polite and nice. At one time I was in a car park at Cornwall where I'd overnighted, and the police pulled up right next to me, and I thought, oh no, here we go. But they just pulled in because it was such a lovely spot overlooking the sea, and they just pulled in to have their lunch. They got out of their vehicle and chatted and said good morning and went on their way. Never had a problem with us at all. But apart from that, I've never been properly moved on. Right, question number 4 is from Steve Strange, which is a very good question. With these storms, how do you manage being stuck inside the van with lack of standing space and wet clothes? The lack of standing space doesn't bother me. I do get out and about when I can, and I'm not scared of going walking in the wind or the rain or the storm. I quite enjoy it actually, especially if I'm at a seaside location. Storms at the sea are fantastic. Wet clothes can be a problem. They are a problem in this van. But I have a clothing tub underneath the bed which is sealed. If I can't dry them, I'll seal them in there, and then dry them when I can. I do have an elastic clothesline which I can hook up between here and a fence or a tree and dry them out when the rain does stop. But alternatively, where my diesel heater comes out, which is down the bottom there, I have room to put something there. Sometimes I just put my boots there and place you back. Sometimes I just put my boots there and drape my coat or jumper over that, and the heat from the diesel heater actually dries it out really quick because it's a dry heat. I think you could have a small clothes rack, put it there, and the heat from the diesel heater would go in and rise up through that and dry it really quick. So when I get my bigger van, I'll definitely be trying that out. Question number 5 is from Darren Jordan. How big is your diesel heater? Is it 3 kilowatt, and how loud is it at night? This is in here is the original 2 kilowatt, which is smaller. It's the Chinese copy of the Eberspacher D2, and they're quite a bit smaller than what's advertised as the 5 or 8 kilowatt one. The 5 or the 8 kilowatt one is actually a direct copy of the Eberspacher D4, and they're actually all 4 kilowatt, no matter what they advertise them as. And as for being loud, no, it's not. It's really quiet. When I park up with other vans that have diesel heaters, they are surprised how quiet mine is. Mine is a lot quieter than Ant's Eberspacher one, but I have fitted a silencer, and the silencer made a huge difference. So I suggest if you're going to fit one, make sure you fit the silencer so you don't upset other people close by. The pump you can hear as a tick, tick, tick. You might be able to hear it in the background, but I've hung it outside. I've mounted it outside underneath the van and hung it on zip ties so it's suspended, and it's a lot quieter. It's not enough noise to bother me. Question number 6, and that's from Somerset Woodsman. Are you full-time van lifer, or do you want to be? I am a full-time van lifer. I do have a partner, and she lives in a house, and she's not able to do this at this time, so you know, I stay there with her sometimes for a night or two, and then I come out in the van for a night or two or longer if I can. But I'm embarking on a new van, hopefully at the start of summer, fully converting that one myself, and that is going to be set up for full-time van life for both of us. So at some point she's going to join me in the full-time van life. Question number 7 from Andy Hunter. The van you have is a popular choice for disabled ramps and chairs, so can I assume this van compared to others of this type and size are bigger in the back and have more reliable engines. Well, I have seen variants of this van which are used for taxis and disabled persons, and there is a long wheelbase version of this van which is very rare, and it's slightly longer. The engines are the same engines because they were super reliable in this van anyway. But I've also seen some with an extended high top at the back for the disabled users. They would make better micro campers, but I didn't want one with windows, so I specifically went for this one. The taxis, the ex-taxis, seem to have a lot of mileage, and they're still not cheap to pick up, so I avoided them totally. Question number 8 from Mr. Johnson. Do you get lonely and do you talk to yourself? Occasionally, yeah. I have found myself talking to myself when I'm doing something, like talking myself through it. But I don't talk to myself to combat loneliness. It's just a sort of a reflex thing. But loneliness, not so much. You know, I still get out and I still socialise and I still see people. I meet up quite often with our VanLifers and have socials. I haven't found loneliness to be a problem. Well, that concludes the questions and answers. If you get any more, pop them down in the comments below and I'll answer them in different videos. I'm sure there's a lot more questions out there. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the notifications button down below so it lets you know when I upload another video. Now the spring's coming, I'm really going to work to get more videos out, especially how-tos on your van. I'm going to be doing one soon where I talk you through and show you installing split charge relays, but the proper way to be in use with a solar setup. A lot of people have it set up wrong, so the batteries are leaking into each other. So that's one to look forward to. Anyway, that's enough for waffling for now, and I'll see you on the next one.